Hey y'all, Christy here. It is Saturday, December 10th, 2022. I am coming on to do my accountability post. Hope y'all are having a great Saturday. I want to hop on early and make sure I get it done because I'm going to make tamales with the family. So I'll be busy throughout the rest of the day. It's something we do every year and we get together and make tamales. So I'm looking forward to it, even though I don't really eat them that much. We do make bean ones, so those are the ones I typically eat. But yesterday I talked about your chakra, your energy, your inner energy, and how you have an infinite supply of it, blue, that doesn't come from eating or sleeping. And this energy that I told you yesterday I was going to find, it's called samskara, or I don't know. I butcher all these words. I probably should Google the pronunciation before I come on and do it, but it's samskara, and that's this energy that's stored in your heart. And it's an infinite supply, but if you close it off, then that's when you have your feelings of tiredness, even though you've had enough sleep, or exhaustion, even if you've eaten a lot. But I want to talk. Stop. Hey, no. Sorry. Apologize. My dogs, seems to always think they need to come in here and fight or make noises. I had to redo this one because one decided to come right next to me and pass gas, and it sounded really loud, and you could hear it on the video, so had to reboot and redo because it was very loud. Blue, Rennie. But I wanted to talk more and read more into this so that you have an understanding of what I'm talking about, because it really is hard to explain, like I said, so it's a lot simpler. Stop. Blue. It's a lot simpler to just read it from the book so it flows better and it makes more sense. But yesterday I was talking about how seeing something can trigger an emotion that you thought you had dealt with, and you released, and you were over it, and you moved on. Well, my quote today is kind of going deeper into that, and what I'm going to read today is going deeper into that. But the quote that I chose from the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer: that which is holding you down can become a powerful force that raises you up. You just have to be willing to take the ascent. Okay? So we're going with this idea that I brought to you yesterday, okay? It was a Mustang, and it was an X. And y'all haven't been together in a while. The book even went on to say that you had gotten married and you had kids, and it was 10 years later, and you saw a Mustang. It wasn't even a light blue one. And you started to notice a change in your emotions. You started to, your heart started to race, or you started to feel a little bit jealous or angry. And you hadn't even thought about that in years, and you've already moved on. But just seeing that Mustang with two people in it triggered that emotion. So I'm just going to read some of this. This is actually, talking about that inner reaction that you thought you've dealt with. Let's take a slow motion look at what happens if you go with these energies. So this is saying, okay, years later, that trigger, and you're going to go with that emotion. First, you start to have a thought or a feeling. The feeling could be as subtle as your energy flow starting to tighten and become defensive, or it could be something much stronger. If these energies capture your consciousness, and all the power of your awareness gets focused on them, and it actually feeds them. Consciousness is tremendously powerful force. When you concentrate on these thoughts and emotions, they become charged with energy and power. This is why thoughts and emotions get stronger the more attention you get when you give them more attention. Let's say you feel a little jealousy or a little fear. If you focus on it, it grows in importance and demands more of your attention. Then, because your attention feeds it, it becomes infused with energy and draws more attention. That's how the cycle goes. Eventually, when started as a passing thought or emotion, it can become the center of your entire life. If you don't let go, it can get completely out of control. I think anybody can think of any instance where an emotion was triggered from something that happened in the past, and you get lost in it and you get pulled into it, and before you know it, you're out, you lose control, and that becomes your focus, and that's all you can think about. Now it says, the moment the energy moves and you feel your consciousness start to get drawn in to it, it says this is where it's telling you to relax and release, which sounds great. It sounds easy. Easier said than done. It says it's simply a matter of taking the risk that you are better off letting go than going with the energy. When you're free from the hold the energy has on you, you will be free to experience the joy and happiness and expansiveness that exists within you. So, sounds great. Easier said than done. So it says basically when you come up with these, when you're presented with these thoughts or emotions, if you decide to let go, you free yourself. And that's ultimately what we all want to do. I thought I've done, but I'm sure there's plenty of those energies trapped or locked in my heart that will get triggered. And that's why I'm reading this book, so I can figure out how to let go, because I thought I did. I thought I accepted them, I moved on, but I don't know if I really have, after reading this book. And, it's given me the tools now. If an emotion is triggered, like it says, you have to decide, are you willing to pay any price for freeing yourself? You realize that the only price you have to pay is letting go of yourself. Only you can take inner freedom away from yourself or give it to yourself. Nobody else can. It doesn't matter what others do unless you decide that it matters to you. That's super powerful. You seem to tend to want to blame others, but it's not. Only you have the power to react. And I'm learning this, and you think you should have known this. It's common sense, but it's more complicated. It's not as easy. But when you take a step back and you actually try to work on these things, then it does seem more realistic. It's just getting to that point. Like deciding that no matter what the mind says, you're not getting involved. You don't fight the mind. And that's, how you deal with it. It sounds so simple, but yet it's so complicated. And it says once you do that, the types of events that would have destroyed you in the past can come and go, leaving you perfectly centered and peaceful. Even if terrible things happen, you should be able to live without emotional scars or impressions. No matter what events take place in life, it's always better to let go rather than to close. And then it says, if you do this, you will break the ultimate habit, the constant draw of the lower self, and you'll experience pure consciousness, which sounds like nirvana. And I would love for that to happen. And the more I'm reading and learning, not even just from this book, but even from, books like Think and Grow Rich or 3 Feet from Gold, it's giving me all these tools to handle different aspects of my life, whether it's personally or professionally or financially. It's giving me all these methods to let go of these emotions that this book is trying to tell me. Now, the next part I'm going to read a lot more of because it was very deep. I probably won't finish it all because it's, I want to give you time to think and process it. But this is the third part of the book, and it's called Letting Go Now or Fall. And it's exploring your inner self. The exploration of self is inextricably interwoven with the unfolding of one's life. The natural ups and downs of life can either generate personal growth or create personal fears. Which of these dominates is completely dependent upon how we view change. There's a big word, change. Change can be viewed as either exciting or frightening, but regardless of how we view it, we must all face the fact that change is the very nature of life. If you have a lot of fear, there's the other big word, fear, you won't like change. You'll try to create a world around you that is predictable, controllable, and definable. My box, there it is. You try to create a world that doesn't stimulate your fears. Fear doesn't want to feel itself. It's actually afraid of itself. So you utilize the mind in an attempt to manipulate life for the purpose of not feeling fear. 100%. That's exactly what I did. My little safety net, my comfort zone, my box that, I flattened and started to throw some of the pieces away now. People do not understand that fear is a thing. It's just another object in the universe that you are capable of experiencing. You can do one of two things with fear. You can recognize that you have it and work to release it, or you can keep it and try to hide from it. I thought that was pretty deep too. So it says, so if you decide to hold on to fear, it says that you create a world in which you'll be able to thrive in, and you will push away everything that scares you. And if any one little thing comes into your perfect little bubble, then your life completely feels out of control because you've built your life into that box and to protect your fear. And so if anything comes in to make you afraid, then you lose control. And like it says, life becomes a me against it situation. So everything's against you. And I think I'm speaking, I don't know everybody, but I know personally myself, I felt like in the past, everything I do is not enough and something's coming at me and I'm getting hit from all over the place. I felt like, it's just one thing after another, and that's what it's saying. It's just me against the world, pretty much. When you have fear, insecurity, or weakness inside of you, and you attempt to keep it from being stimulated, there will inevitably be events and changes in life that challenge your efforts. Because you resist these changes, you feel that you are struggling with life. You feel like this person is not behaving the way they should, and this event is not unfolding the way you want. You see situations that happened in the past as disturbing, and you see things down the road as potential problems. Your definitions of desirable and undesirable, as well as good and bad, all come about because you have defined how things need to be in order for you to be okay. We all know that we're doing this, but nobody questions it. We think we're supposed to figure out how life should be and then make it that way. Only someone who looks deeper and questions why we need the events of life to be that particular way will question this assumption. How did we come up with that notion that life is not okay just the way it is? Or that it won't be okay the way it will be? Who said that the way of life naturally unfolds is not all right? The answer is fear says so. Deep, I know, right? The part of you inside that's not okay with itself can't face the natural unfolding of life because it's not under your control. If life unfolds in a way that stimulates your inner problems, then by definition, it's not okay. It's really very simple. That which doesn't disturb you is okay, and that which disturbs you is not. We define the entire scope of our outer experience based upon our inner problems. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm telling you. Deep. You know, like I was saying, we're the subject of our world, and there's objects, and we experience the objects. So if we've got things locked away in our heart, like it's saying, your inner feelings become attached to your outer experiences. So they work hand in hand. And how you're feeling on the inside ultimately affects whatever objects you come across. And it says, as you grow, you will realize that your attempts to protect yourself from your problems actually create more problems. Like I said, when you're feeling attacked, you get attacked from all areas, and more problems arise. If you attempt to arrange people, places, and things so they don't disturb you, it will begin to feel like life is against you. You feel that life is a struggle and that every day is heavy because you have to control and fight with everything. Control. There will be a competition, jealousy, and fear. You will feel that anyone at any moment could cause you a disturbance. All they have to do is say or do one thing, and the next thing you know, there's a disturbance inside you. That makes life a threat. That's why you have to worry so much. That's why you have all these dialogues going inside your mind. You're either trying to figure out how to keep things from happening, or you're trying to figure out what to do because they did happen. You are fighting with creation, and that makes creation itself the most frightening thing in your life. Hello, Psycho Sally. That is why you exist in my mind, because I'm trying to control things, or something has happened and I'm trying to fix the problem. That's why I'm saying this is so deep that if I'm trying to explain it, it makes zero sense. I have to read it so maybe you can get that aha moment like I did when I'm reading it, and be like, that is why I'm always talking to my head, because I'm trying to prevent things to disturb my world so that I can be okay. It's mind-blowing. Well, at least to me. And I'm just sharing it with you because it excites me, and I never thought about it that way. That's why my mind is always going, is because I'm starting to realize, okay, yeah, I destroyed the box, but I didn't allow myself to still be free from the box. Reading this is showing me that I still have so much residual left to deal with in that box. That's why my mind is always going, because I'm not living in the moment. I'm trying to protect myself still, even to this day, going even on this journey to personal excellence. I still have issues to work through, and I'm realizing that, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, because I thought I had moved on and everything's okay, and I'm taking step forwards, which I am. But when I read things like this, I realize that I got a lot of work to do still, and that's okay, and I'm okay with it, and I'm accepting the challenge. But I honestly thought I had made peace with it, and I'm just now barely scratching the surface. And it's when I read things like this that it's okay, and there's ways to fix it. Just recognize them. And that really touched me deep, because it made sense why I have Psycho Sally in there. Because Sally is trying to protect me from what I'm most afraid of, or whatever triggers what residual blockage that I have in my heart. Sorry, I'm super thirsty. So I just was like, wow, that makes so much sense, because I'm trying to fight something that's going to trigger an emotion. So I'm constantly planning and fighting with life in my head, or trying to fix something that happened, and that it goes on to that too, about trying to fix things. I don't know if I'll read that today or get into it tomorrow, but I'm going to talk more about fear. Okay, when you have fear inside of you, the events of life invariably stimulate it. Like a rock thrown into water, the world with its continuous changes create ripples in whatever is held within you. There's nothing wrong with that. Life creates situations that push you to your edges, all with the effect of removing what is blocked inside of you. That which is blocked and buried within you forms the root of fear. Fear is caused by blockages in the flow of your energy. When your energy is blocked, it can't come up and feed your heart. Therefore, your heart becomes weak. When your heart is weak, it becomes susceptible to lower vibrations. And one of the lowest of all vibrations is fear. Fear is the cause of every problem. It's the root of all prejudice, all the negative emotions of anger, jealousy, and possessiveness. If you had no fear, you could be perfectly happy living in this world. Nothing would bother you. You'd be willing to face everything and everyone because you wouldn't have fear inside of you that would cause you a disturbance. That's amazing. I hope to have that, ultimately. And then it says that if you choose not to, this is how you react. Everyone says, I will do every single thing I can to keep my stuff. This is if you're choosing to keep fear in your heart. If you say anything that disturbs me, I will defend myself. I'll yell at you and make you take it back. If you cause any disturbance inside of me, I will make you sorry. In other words, if somebody does something that stimulates fear, you think they did something wrong. You then do everything you can to make sure they never do it again. First, you defend yourself, and then you protect yourself. You do whatever you can to keep from feeling disturbance. Yeah, guilty right here. Guilty as charged. It doesn't matter who stimulates it. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter what situation hits it. It doesn't matter whether it makes sense or whether it seems fair or not. Most of us are not that wise to deal with it, right? We're really not trying to be free of our stuff. We're trying to justify keeping it. Another mind-blowing point to me. It's like, yeah, you want to let it go, but then part of you doesn't, which I don't know why. You're trying to justify keeping these things to protect yourself. If you truly want to grow, you realize that keeping your stuff is keeping you trapped. Eventually, you'll want out. I do. Hello, right now. That's why I'm going on this journey. And you'll want out at any cost. You will then realize that life is actually trying to help you. Life is surrounding you with people and situations that stimulate growth. You don't have to decide who's right or wrong. You don't have to worry about other people's issues. You only have to be willing to open your heart in the face of anything and everything and permit the purification process to take place. When you do this, the first thing you'll see is that situations will unfold that hit that stuff. So when you're ready to open it up, it's pretty much saying be prepared, because there's going to be triggers that make you face it. But in truth, that's exactly what has been happening your entire life. The only difference is now you see it as a good thing because it's an opportunity to let go. Wow. Love it. I've already read it, but even rereading it, I still get excited, about the possibilities and the chances to grow even more. The stuff that holds you down periodically rears its head. When it does, let it go. You simply permit the pain to come up into your heart and pass through. If you do that, it will pass. If you sincerely seek truth, you'll let go every time. This is the beginning and the end of the entire path. You surrender yourself to the process of emptying yourself. When you work with this, you start to learn the subtle laws of the process of letting go. You will learn it early, but you'll fail many times while trying to adhere to it. I'm pretty sure yes. It says the law is very straightforward. When your stuff gets hit, let it go right then because it will be harder later. All right. That's kind of deep. I don't know if I want to go anymore. Let that sit in. I'll continue tomorrow and give you the principles of living in this law while you process it, because I still need time to process it, because I really thought I destroyed and kicked the box's butt, destroyed my little safety box, but I just scratched the surface of tearing the box apart, and I gotta unpack it now because it's still packed together, I guess, tightly. And even without, it's so packed in there that it actually clearly has retained the shape of the box, even though I have taken the box apart. So, and now I need to unpack the box. That's pretty much what I've realized just reading this part, that my box is still very tightly put together. There's just no box. There's no actual box anymore. It's just taken the form of the box. And now I have to unpack it piece by piece and confront all those things that are tightly packed in there. They're exposed, but they're still tightly held together. So take time, process this, and think about what is in your box or what is locked in your heart. What things, what emotions do you have locked in here that can be triggered by a word, a smell, something you see, something you hear, think about them. I know I have been. And I'll come back tomorrow and read about the principles of living with this law of letting go. And, go from there. One day at a time. Remember, I believe in you. I have faith in you. I have faith in myself. You're stronger than you think. Trust me. You really are. And the more you're open to exploring what is essentially holding you back, the stronger you become, And like it says, you're going to fall, and that's okay. Y'all have seen me fall a few times, and I've gotten back up, and that's the most important part. And, I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm going to go enjoy making tamales with my family. So remember, like I said, you matter. You're important. Even though I don't even know some of you. Maybe say hi. Introduce yourselves. Subscribe. Hit like. Follow me. I welcome you, because you're going to be in for a show. I don't know what life has in store for me as far as this journey that I'm on to personal excellence, but I'm willing to show you that maybe it's not all pretty, but it's real. So delete regrets, hit reset, and unleash your new mindset. Become a champion. I know y'all can. And have a wonderful Saturday. Bye, y'all.